The following 3 insights summarize the key elements of this Mindflow course. We describe them as insights because you already know them, and this course has merely helped you to see them clearly. They are: 1. There is no time other than now. 2. Without ego, you and the world are one. 3. The integral point is where you fulfill your purpose and align with the greater flow of life. These 3 insights are profound yet simple and can be experienced by practicing the techniques that we've covered during the course. Let's examine these insights in more detail. Insight 1. There is no other time than now. When you are fully present in meditation or in flow, time stands still and there's only this moment. Now, now, and now. The past is merely a memory and the future a projection. You can't change what is in the past, and you can't experience the future. In other words, the past and the future only exist in the present. So if we want to shape the future or come to terms with the past, we can only do so by our actions in the present moment. This realization is very empowering and shows you that being present and responding to the need of the moment is the most effective way to live. Spending time arguing about what was done in the past or worrying about the future is futile. The mindful awareness exercise and connecting with the senses bring you back to the present moment. Coming back to this moment, this now, connects you with the real world. Insight 2. Without ego, you and the world are one. Alan Watts, a great thinker and philosopher, described the way we see ourselves as a hallucination, a false and distorted sensation of our own existence and identity. Albert Einstein described this same sense of self as a prison that we must work to free ourselves from. The Chinese sage Wei Wu Wei asks, "Why are you unhappy?" Because 99% of everything you think and everything you do is for yourself. And there isn't one. The idea that your ego self is an illusion can be difficult to grasp. So here's an analogy to demonstrate this. First, consider the idea of pure awareness with no attachments or judgments. This kind of awareness you discover when you're in meditation or in flow. This is your true self that is in harmony with the world as it is. Just like a glass of water, the sense of self is pure, clear, and untarnished. Now consider the idea of our ego self with the belief that you are made up of your personality, gender, achievements, possessions, career, nationality, etc. This is like the glass of water with milk poured into it. The milk being the manufactured version of ourself, our illusion of self. There's nothing wrong with the milk, but once it's in the same glass as pure water, we don't recognize that the water was there in the first place. The water has become invisible. When you realize that the true self is what lies underneath all the attachments, judgments, and interpretations, you can cease to identify, defend, and worry, and thus be released from the suffering and unhappiness that comes from defending something that isn't really there. From this perspective, when there's a disagreement, you can find a way to solve the problem that is beneficial for everybody, including you. When you realize that you are of the same essence as everything and everyone else, you will act in a way that is fair for all. A way to train your mind to think in this way is to say to yourself, "This is none other than myself." That will remind you that the person you are interacting with is merely an expression in different form of the same awareness as you. Insight 3. The integral point is where you fulfill your purpose and align with the greater flow of life. Richard Bach, in his book Illusion, said, "Here's a test to find out if your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't." The third insight is that mind flow will lead you to finding your purpose in life. Nick Meladonis used to be a trainer and a management consultant. After 30 years of working in this field, Nick was unfulfilled with what he was doing, so he quit his job and took up landscape photography. He has ultimately become a world-renowned, award-winning landscape photographer. When Nick talks about his photography, his eyes glow and his passion is tangible. He talks with enthusiasm about seeing how light interacts with the landscape and how time stands still when he's working. While doing work that does not resonate with our unique personality, values, and skills, we can find it difficult to experience flow. However, when there is a resonance, we can easily experience flow. And when this happens, we often say that we have found our calling or our purpose in life. When we're in the present, our heart tells us what is right for us. Author Matthew Fox says there's only one type of work going on in the universe. This he calls the great work, or we call the great flow. It is the work of evolution and the creation and creative flow of the universe. This flow creates stars, galaxies, Mozart concertos, the Eiffel Tower, and pizza. When you're practicing mind flow, you are participating in and connected to this great flow. Mindfulness is the practice that brings us into the present moment, and being connected at the integral point and responding to the need of the moment allows us to participate in this great flow. In this context, our own work may seem a tiny contribution, but is an integral part of the vast work of society and life on earth. Out of the flow state comes creative work that is in harmony with our own being and everything and everyone around you. During moments of mind flow, a contribution is made to something larger than the ego self, whether you're washing the dishes or creating a masterpiece. Mind flow is the universe playing jazz through you. When you align your work at the integral point, you find your calling. Align with the great flow and contribute to making the world a better place.